Okay, the number one reason for business ownership is, come on, applause, drum roll, what is it? To make money, right? To make lots of money. Wrong. Okay, the buzzer sounds. So what is it if it's not to make lots of money? Of course we want to make lots of money, but the number one benefit of being a business owner is not making money. You can make money anywhere. You can make money punching a time clock. You can make money doing anything, right? The number one benefit of business ownership is time. Time. There's nothing more important than time. You cannot manufacture more time. We all have the same amount. You can't buy more. Regardless of how wealthy you are, you cannot add to your days. You can't add to the hours within your days. Time is the very most awesome and amazing benefit. And guess what? It has nothing to do with business. It has nothing to do with business. So what am I talking about? The number one benefit of business being time. Well, maybe it's more than that. What if it was control of your time? What if it was enabling you to call the shots, enabling you to establish a schedule that meets the needs of your family, of your life, of your desires? You know, if you want to get up early and go work out, you can do that. You have the flexibility and the ability to be able to do that. If you want to take a 2-3 hour lunch to be able to go spend time with your family, you can do that. If you want to adjust your schedule so that you don't work on a certain day so that you could go volunteer or go be a part of something that's going on in your kid's school, or do something, you can do that. You have the freedom to control how you spend your time. So even deeper, what do I mean when I say that? Because time is still time, right? Regardless of your business. Well, most of us need to make some money. And so we have to figure out a way that we can maintain control of our time while at the same time making money. And so we all have the same amount of time, regardless of whether we're working or not. The question is, how do we have control of our time while still being able to also have some money in our pocket? And that's where I'm saying I think there's a massive and incredible opportunity with being a small business owner, an independent business owner, because you have the ability to control your time. I feel like that is the number one reason why somebody would want to go into business for themselves. And let me just explain something to you. I'll tell you a story about kind of how I got to this position. So when I was young, I wanted to be an engineer. I told my mom, when I was real young, I was 4 years old, I told my mom I wanted to drive race cars. And as I got a little bit older, I realized if I was going to drive race cars, I needed to make a lot of money. Because as my friend Joe Gibbs says, how you make a small fortune in racing is you start with a large fortune. And I think that's funny, but it's very true about racing. I wanted to race cars when I was younger. And I got to do that. It's wonderful, amazing, a lot of fun. But I also wanted to work. I told my mom when I was older that I wanted to be an engineer for a Fortune 100 company. My idea of like maybe working at GM or one of these big corporations, and I got a chance to do that. I was an engineer, went to school, worked in the industry for about 7 years, during college, and certainly after high school I went in the military, then went to college and started working in the engineering field and spent about 7 years doing that before I started my own company. And that's been almost 20 years ago since I started. After I was in the engineering field for a few years, I was in my late 20s, and I kind of was thinking to myself, is this it? I kind of got here a lot faster than I thought I would. I was making very good money, had stock options in this company. It was a massive corporation, and had a good job working as an engineer and doing work for 4 amazing people with an amazing team. It was unbelievable. My wife was working at the time in the city at a big bank, and life was good. But I had this gut-wrenching feeling that I was kind of feeling like, is this it? Like, I probably got 30, 40 years of work left. I mean, am I just going to do more of the same? And nothing against anybody who chooses that path. It's wonderful. And I think there's, in many ways, I would have been very happy doing that. But there's one thing, regardless of whether I was to make more or less financial success either way, or enjoy more or learn more or whatever, there's one thing that sticks out to me that makes it all worth it. And what that is, you know, when I was involved in this corporation as an engineer, I was engrossed in it. I mean, I was spending, you know, probably a total of 80 or 90 hours a week. I was working a lot. I had an hour commute each direction. I was thinking about it all the time. You know, I was a salaried engineer, and so really I wasn't punching a time clock per se, but I was responsible for a lot of things, and it just never left me. And so my creativity was all in. And you know what? I loved it. I worked with a great team. It was amazing and wonderful, but I just felt like, there's got to be something else. And as it turns out, the number one thing that I enjoyed, or I have enjoyed since leaving that and starting my own company, was the ability to be able to say when I was going to start each day, when I was going to take a break, when I was going to go spend time with my family, when I was going to go on a vacation, when I was going to go do this or that. You know, I have 3 teenagers now, and my oldest turned 17 this summer, and the amount of time that I've been able to spend with them throughout their lives, and obviously with my wife as well, has been amazing, and certainly the number one benefit of doing this. So as I look back on it and I reflect just on, you know, the topic for this video, the time thing, for me it's been being able to have control of that time and being able to administer my priorities and my responsibilities on my life holistically, not just on the hours that are outside of work, but also on the hours that are generally included in what's called a work day or what's assumed to be a work day. So that's my answer to that question.